Good morning or good afternoon. Thank you for taking time today to join us for our combined webinar with our partners, Cinedeck and Mega Media Factory. I'm Richie Murray, a media workflow and cloud technologist for LucidLink. We're going to be talking today about how to insert and edit a file, and part of that functionality is going to be provided by the cineXtools from Jane Sung's company, Cinedeck, and the shared storage component is going to be provided via LucidLink. Jane and I became, basically, I've known Jane for several years. I've known of Cinedeck's ingest solutions for several years, and I reached out to her for a camera to cloud workflow. And that camera to cloud workflow was going to be the Cinedeck ingest component along with writing directly to LucidLink. But as a part of that conversation, Jane was making me aware of the capabilities of cineXtools and how well we did basically some quick tests, and we saw that the way that they work together were very empowering. So I'll let Jane speak to that, and then we're going to show a quick video as it relates to Jamie Stewart's experience, and then we'll show a demo at the end and follow up with some questions. So Jane.
Thanks, Richie. So, hey guys, I'm Jane Sung. I'm the COO here at Cinedeck. Like Richie said, he and I have known each other for a long time, and he reached out to me one day, and I was like, we were just chatting about a couple of different things, and we just sort of on the spur of the moment decided to try cineXtools with LucidLink. So he literally sort of set me up with a demo file space on the spot. I am not a technical person, and I was just sort of able to set up LucidLink very simply. And I put a file in there that I wanted to insert edit, and really without thinking about where that file was now located, I was actually, when I did the insert edit, I was actually doing the insert edit to a file in S3. So that in itself is kind of amazing, right? If you know a little bit about the way that S3 actually stores files. And then when he was able to see that insert edit immediately on his side, I was just blown away. And the reason is that when cineXtools first was introduced 3 years ago, we were a little bit of a disruptor in the market, right? Like we were able to insert edit to a file that you had already exported, which means that, you don't have to re-export the whole change again. And Jamie will definitely go through this a little bit in that video you're going to see. But some of the feedback from clients was like, wow, that's amazing, but I still have to resend my whole file, and then my customer has to re-download that whole file. So even though cineXtools could take them, this far, I couldn't take them the whole way. Now, when Richie showed me LucidLink and cineXtools working together, it was like, whoa, now we're doing the whole thing. We're saving time on the export, we're saving time on the upload, we're saving time on the download and the file delivery. And it was just sort of like, for me, a jaw-dropping moment. That day, I had a call with Jamie, and at the end of the call, I was like, hey, you want to see something really cool? And I just, in the same way that Richie had set me up with that file space, I set Jamie up with that file space. And he was like, it was like jaw-dropping. He's like, what was this magic you just showed me? So Jamie totally got behind it, and you'll see that in this video that he made. It's an amazingly well put together video explaining just how impactful that cineXtools and LucidLink partnership really is.
Thank you, Jane. And let's hear from Jamie, and then we'll do a demo immediately after.
Hi, I'm Jamie Stewart, president of Mega Media Factory, and today we'll take a look at a truly groundbreaking video production workflow featuring Cinedeck's cineXtools and LucidLink's Cloud NAS. Today, I'm excited to explore mind-blowing technology that together is redefining the video production workflow for remote collaboration. cineXtools itself is a game changer for video post-production, but add LucidLink's cloud and NAS services, and what you can achieve is nothing short of amazing. Personally, I have been in the video production and post-production world since Adobe Premiere 2.0, and I've seen and experienced every production workflow since, both good and bad. The major challenge we are facing now is with production and post-production teams all over the world, a really elegant and seamless collaborative experience has not existed until now. The challenge arises when you have a production team in New York and a post-production team in LA, with producers and other team members spread all over. Creative collaboration is extremely challenging, to say the least, and you'll get inundated with files, revisions, changes, updates, requests, with everything piling up everywhere, and no one specific file that everyone can work with together. This is where LucidLink comes in. LucidLink allows for large video files to be uploaded to your secure cloud NAS, with everyone on your team reviewing and working with the same assets. But I can hear you thinking, but Jamie, aren't those files large? Yes, they are. But LucidLink allows you to sync files quickly with the entire team working with the same assets, all locally on their machine. LucidLink does a little magic in the background by breaking up the large files into small chunks. So as those chunks are successfully uploaded, they are immediately available for review, even before they are completely uploaded. Now, with any creative project, there will be changes and revisions will be needed. The typical workflow would be to make the edits in your editing software, export the entire project, review the entire project, upload that large file to share with your team. They would review and request additional changes, starting this entire process over and over again. And that's before you even get to QC and client reviews. I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted just thinking about that workflow. Cinedeck's cineXtools is the solution to this issue. By allowing you to make changes to finalized video files without rendering, you can quickly make a revision and insert that small file into your master file without the need to re-render the entire project. This means you only have to review the small change you made and not have to rewatch the entire video again. This immediately saves time, money, and allows for more work to be done in a shorter amount of time. cineXtools allows you to insert audio, video, or both into any file type: H.264, ProRes, DNX HD, DNX HR, XTCam 35 and 50, AVC-I, XAVC, and JPEG 2000. As you can see, all of today's most popular codecs are supported, and this is really just the start of what you can do with cineXtools. When we combine cineXtools and LucidLink, this is where the magic really begins. Let's review a typical corporate video application. Our production and post-production team is located in New York. The client is located in LA. The video has been completed and has been exported as an insertable ProRes file for round 1 of reviews. The client is using the LucidLink software and has the video locally on their machine for review. The client loves the video but sees a simple spelling mistake and asks for that to be fixed. The editor opens up their Adobe Premiere project, fixes the spelling mistake, and exports only the 5 seconds that the error was on screen. They open up cineXtools using the master video from LucidLink as their target, and then select the 5-second fix as their source and insert that change. LucidLink notices that change and begins to upload only the parts of the file that were changed, not the entire video file. This change happens immediately and is instantly available for the client for review, even if they have the video file open. Just play back to see the changes immediately. If you're like me, when I first saw this, I was speechless. In my life, I never thought a workflow like this would exist. And even now that I'm seeing it and using it with my clients, it's still hard to believe. It changed my entire mindset for remote production and remote collaboration within creative teams. Instead of changes and revisions bogging down my production team, we were able to complete simple fixes right on the spot while in review sessions with our clients. We're getting changes completed in minutes, not hours or days. Instead of re-exporting large, complicated, and time-consuming renders, we're exporting changes in minutes. Instead of uploading extremely large files, we're uploading small changes. This keeps my editors doing what they do best: editing. As you can see, these workflows are simple to integrate and take no major IT or tech expertise. Your editors will love it because they don't have to wait hours for renders. Your clients will be blown away, and more importantly, you'll see an immediate return on investment. If you'd like to schedule a personalized demo or to see how this workflow could help you, visit us online at megamediafactory.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Jamie, thanks for taking the time to make that video. It really explained everything very well. One key component before we get started, just want to level set. I'm based near Nashville. Both Jane and Jamie are in the Northeast in 2 different locations. All of us have installed the LucidLink client. Mine happened to be on a Mac. Jamie's on a Mac, and I believe Jane's on a PC. We are connected to a file space, and they have, I have root access, so I have administrative type access. This file space happens to be in AWS in Northern California, but that was pre-configured. And as far as users are concerned, all you need is the LucidLink client, a file space, and a username and password with access into this directory structure. So I've provided that to both Jamie and Jane so we can all collaborate together. So I'll turn this over to you, Jamie, and let you provide a workflow demo.
Wonderful. Thank you, guys. It's great to be here, and I'm really excited to show how this actually works in real life here. So we're just going to kind of follow a very typical corporate video workflow. Let me share my screen here, and you'll actually see that I have just an Adobe Premiere project up here. Nothing fancy, just some video. And what we would normally do is take this video and export it and send it out to a client for review. So you can see I have my work area set for the whole entire video. And I'm just going to come here and go to export media. For purposes of our demo today, I'm just going to do an XDCAM HD50, so a pretty standard file. And there's really no difference for me for exporting this to my machine or to LucidLink. All I'm going to do is just put this in my LucidLink folder. I'm using the same widget, the same software that Richie and Jane are using. So I can just select my folder, and I'm just going to put this in the root level. And I'm going to call this V1 for review. And as soon as I hit export on this, what it's going to do is actually start writing the file. And at the same time, LucidLink's going to know that, and it's going to start pushing those blocks out to the share. So we can actually see that here. As soon as I hit export, we're going to see it's starting to export. And then here in my LucidLink, we're actually going to see that we have remaining upload. So it's actually seeing that, and it's seeing the data, and it's pushing that data, doing that immediately as the file's written. It might take a little bit extra time here as soon as the file's written, but these files are immediately able for review. So Jane, why don't we do this? As soon as this is done uploading on my side of it, why don't we have you look at it and just see if everything's okay since you're my client here, and let me know what you think.
Okay. All right, so I just want to share my screen with everybody because I want to show you how easy it is for me to open that file. There's literally nothing for me to do. First of all, I do want to tell everybody that I'm on Wi-Fi. So I'm actually like Jamie's worst nightmare for client review because, and I'm not on fast Wi-Fi. I'm like on slow home Wi-Fi. But let's just sort of go back to how we're going to access that file. So here's just my regular Windows Explorer. Here's my LucidLink drive. I know the file is in this Mega Media Factory folder. And then here's that file that Jamie just exported. So this is not like a copy of a copy of a copy. This is like the file that he exported. It's currently in S3, and I'm going to play it back as if it's just a local file. So play with. So VLC for me always takes a little bit. Let's try it again. Come on, here we go. So looking good, looking good. And again, I'm on Wi-Fi, and it tells me actually. So I'm looking at this LucidLink, and I don't know if I'm just going to pause this video so you guys can see. But because I am on Wi-Fi, LucidLink is telling me that I have a poor connection, and things are going to not be so smooth and perfect for me. Now, if I was on, if I wasn't on Wi-Fi, if I had Ethernet, Ethernet cable plugged in, probably a much smoother process, but alas, here I am. Okay, so, oh, Jamie, that's a wonderful edit, except you like misspelled so many things. So, okay. So I'm gonna, and what's cool is that we're sort of engaging live, right? Like I guess, I don't know who I would be here, some stakeholder in the process. And Jamie is the production company who has edited my corporate video. And I'm like, this is great, except there's this part. And we're talking live as this is happening. So let me just stop sharing there.
And one of the biggest things about creative workflows like this is managing the exceptions, managing the review process, managing the changes that we have to do, because these can really bog down a creative team. So in a situation like this where we can schedule a live meeting between the two of us and we can actually review content that's the same content on both machines, makes life so much easier. So I'm going to just share my screen again here and we'll just walk through the process of actually making this change. So at this point, all I need to do is go, oh, you know what, Jane, so sorry, I messed that up. Let me just make a couple of simple changes here to it and spell everything right. And that's it. Okay, so I have the changes made now, and we can see that they're there. Now, instead of me uploading the entire file again, exporting the entire file again, all I'm going to do is set my export area to be the section of that video that was actually changed. So I only need to really send these few, seconds of video out. So at this point, I'm breaking that export upload cycle, and I'm going to just export these 5 seconds. I'm going to just put this in a local folder here for myself, and then I'm going to say corrected and just name it something slightly different. And this upload or this export will only take a few seconds because it happens so quick. So this really comes into play whenever you have a really long video or a large export. Sometimes we can render overnight, we can render for days. And for a simple spelling mistake, it only takes us 5 seconds to export that change now. So now I have 2 files. I have the original and I have the corrected. So I'm going to go into cineXtools here, and I'm just going to bring up my my Finder window. Here I have my cineXtools window, and I can see I have the original file, which is the demo v1. I'm going to bring that into my target area inside of cineXtools. So this is where I'm actually writing the file to. And then I'm going to bring open the corrected file as my source. So you can see if I move the playhead over here, that the text is correct. We did make that change. And if I look at my target, we're going to see that that is incorrect. So it's really as simple as just coming over to your source window. I'm going to set my in and out points, and I'm going to send those in and out points over to my target window. And what you'll see is Cinex is smart enough to know that this entire clip should be inserted in this video file, but only where it needs to go. So it's kind of like an in and out point. Now, it's really as simple as just selecting insert video right now. I'm not inserting any audio. And as soon as I click the insert button, it's going to ask me, are you sure about this? And I'm going to say yes. And as soon as I do that, I'm going to open up my LucidLink software again, so you can actually see that it's only sending those blocks that are changed. And you can see now it's sending just those changed blocks. It's not the entire changed file, just those blocks. So CineX is changing the frames, and LucidLink is just changing the blocks. So now if I review this target video, we'll see that the text has been changed and it has been saved. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing. Jane, why don't you go ahead and look at that video file again,
Yep.
and make sure that we made those changes before we send it along to the ultimate client, which is Richie.
Okay, cool. So here I am. I see this little down arrow, which means that this file is being updated. And I don't know if you guys can see the timestamp here, but it's really, but it shows that it was changed at 1:18 p.m. So that's when the file was inserted. And let's just open it again. There we go. And yep, now it's done. So that's pretty cool. When he was inserting into that file was already located in the cloud in S3. And me, the client, can have these sort of real-time sessions where we're making updates, creating changes, et cetera, et cetera. So let me stop there. And again, I'm just on Wi-Fi. And honestly, I can't believe how quick that process is, despite the fact that I'm on home internet Wi-Fi. So.
Well, thank you for that. And I think that obviously we're going through some pretty complicated steps very quickly, but I have the exact same file space mounted. I'm in Central Time in Nashville. So I can actually open that same file. We happen to be playing it with VLC, but it's basically anything that will open it. And I would be the final receiver of this particular file. And because we're all looking at the exact same blocks, the changes that were made, the frames that are changed by CineX insert, combined with the blocks that are being, only the blocks that are being changed with LucidLink, really close down and shorten that correction cycle. And so obviously, if I needed to do something with this file, the beauty of LucidLink is it mounts on my drive, on my system, on my host as a local drive. But as you can see, the data is shareable amongst other people. However, LucidLinks writes the blocks to an S3 compliant place. Ours happens to be AWS in Northern California. And that means it's infinitely scalable as far as the number of people that can be connected to it at the same time and the amount of storage. So very, very powerful. One thing that I wanted to point out and Jamie, maybe you could fire up your cineXtools. We showed basically one insert type, but there are a number of cineXtool capabilities when it comes to the tool sets that are available to us. And we don't necessarily have to get a full overview, but at the same time, it's important to note that it's not just a point in time swapping tool, but there are other capabilities.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let me know if you want me to talk through it, and I don't care.
Yeah, no, we can. I'll talk through it a little bit here.
Okay.
So we actually have the multiple source, single target, so you can actually kind of batch process as well. I did load up a couple videos here, so everything should be pre-populated. Okay. We can also extract audio to file. Trim and extend is pretty cool. Same thing with rewrap and audio versioning. AS11 metadata editor is very powerful and used a lot. And one of my personal favorites is the closed caption editor. So you can actually edit closed caption files right there on the fly. And then you obviously have a create insert media as well. So Jane, if you want to go into any more detail about those, feel free.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to talk about the Captions Editor because I think that, you know, the process for adding captions to a file is usually that you'll have a captioning house. They'll send you, you know, some sort of file type, and then you have to export that whole file again from your timeline. So that happened, and that's fine. You can actually use cineXtools to rewrap with captions, so you don't have to re-export or reprocess that file. But the other cool thing is that, let's say there's like a little captions error, and like, you know, you have a bit of caption that's covering up someone's title. Instead of going back to your caption house and like asking them to, oh, at such and such time code, can you shift the captions to the top? You can literally make that change inline instantly in cineXtools. And you can have that same review session that we showed you with just captions. You know, there's so many things that you could do with this combination of cineXtools and LucidLink that is just kind of like a little bit mind-blowing.
And again, the details there, and there are also some cineXtool plugins for both Adobe Premiere and Avid. So obviously, time is money, and that was one of the things, not to put words in your mouth, Jamie, but I think that was one of the kind of the aha moments for you was, I've got to deliver my files anyway, and we know there are going to be corrections. The combination of these two tools, LucidLink and cineXtools together, they save you time, which saves you money. And would you want to speak to that?
Yeah, so, you know, we watched the how, right? But the why is really what's important to me. And the why is having technology that doesn't get in the way and allows us to be more profitable as a business with less expenses. So really, cineX and LucidLink allows my editors to really focus on the edit and not have to worry about the export, the upload, you know, all of the monotony that goes into this. And we saved, I mean, ROI was immediately. It was immediate for us. There was no issues with this ROI. We saved money immediately, and my editors were thrilled that they could do this workflow. And like I said, the first time I saw this, I was blown away. I did not know how this existed and how it worked. So, I mean, we're taking exports that could take overnight or longer down to sometimes 30 seconds for changes, especially for simple text changes. And no longer as a business owner do I have to buy $15,000 render machines to make these renders happen faster. We can do this with a little bit more standard machines and still have a great user experience for my editors and my employees, my team members, and have a really great experience for our end users, our clients, our customers. And again, saving money immediately.
Excellent. Thank you for that. We've got two questions. One is specific to cineXtools. Are you able to replace content with a different duration from the source?
Yeah, so we actually have a feature inside cineXtools called Insert with Rewrap. So it'll rewrap the file. If the duration's longer, we're obviously not overwriting over specific in and out points. We want to push down a little bit to make sure that there's room for that new piece that you want to insert. So it works the same way as source in a way. It'll just rewrap with that new piece. Again, no rendering is happening when we're rewrapping the file. We're just literally copying the bits that you want to keep, adding the bits that you want to add, and then just making a new file.
Excellent, thank you. And then I had somebody on chat asked if, what files were you looking at? Is the file in the cloud or locally downloaded as a copy? And is this dynamically updated? And you basically hit the thing that none of us believed was possible and wouldn't be possible without this combination of tools. LucidLink looks like a local drive, but the content that makes up the files is, instead of being written into blocks onto a hard disk, they're written into an object store that's accessible by anyone that has the LucidLink client installed with the appropriate sharing credentials. This is all done securely with client level encryption on both ends, and with data at rest and data in transit. And that's really the secret sauce. And we know that many people didn't believe it because we didn't necessarily believe it. We're like, wow, see it in action. Cinedeck does offer a 7-day free trial for cineXtools. You can go and sign up for that right in their from their website. LucidLink provides a 14-day free trial, and I would recommend trying either the Teams or the Enterprise. Our Teams and Enterprise is back-end by our IBM partnership, and there are some very aggressive egress rates available. Or you can bring your own, which is our custom. And so if your company's already partnered with AWS, Google, Azure, others, I'm sure I'm leaving some out, we are compatible with any publicly accessible S3 bucket, and the performance is basically down to that S3 provider's capabilities. And then can't say enough about Jamie and his team at Mega Media Factory. I know he wants to take full credit for that excellent video, but I know his team propped him up. And but seriously, Jamie, your level of excitement and that aha moment was fun to see. And I know that everybody else that goes and takes the time to set up these free trials will actually get that same aha moment. Jane or Jamie, anything you'd like to follow up with?
Yeah, I just see a couple more chats coming in. The one was, does she have to close the file and reopen it before seeing the changes? And the answer to that is no, you don't have to. It might depend on the file type specifically, but yeah, you don't have to at all. And the other one directed to me here, thank you for breaking down the why in greater detail. It's even ability to comment on a value that LucidLink provides your business in terms of time saved and productivity. Yeah, the value is quite honestly, this is going to sound like cliche, but it's priceless, right? Time is money. And the more time that I have and my team has to make additional contents or make these changes faster, now we're getting content to our clients faster. We're able to get more work done quicker and more efficiently, which is allowing us to immediately see an increase in revenue. So I mean, we're seeing projects that would normally take extra hours to finish. We're seeing them done in sometimes minutes. So really, it's just a matter of a very, very small, slight tweak to your workflow and adding the right tools, and you're gonna see an immediate ROI.
And I think a lot of the editing process is about waiting around, like waiting for it to render, waiting for it to export, waiting for it to upload, I mean, like, why? There are so many, there are these tools out there that sort of like let you have that immediacy that you want with every workflow. So yeah, I hope you guys try it. There was another question about, was this file in standard tier on S3? Would it work in Glacier? Was a question.
Sure, and that's an excellent question. LucidLink file system requires the blocks be available. So we wouldn't want them to go to Glacier because they wouldn't be immediately available. We are compatible with the automatic tiering, but not automatic tiering all the way to Glacier. So there are some cost savings that you can take advantage of by using the auto tiering function, but not all the way to Glacier.
And just so you guys know, we are, we said that it would end in 30 minutes, but we had all sort of talked about if there are more questions, we'd be happy to stay on. If you want to direct message any of us to ask any very specific questions, you can do that as well. Feel free.
So this is a one issue we have is producers are becoming savvy at changing their shows, even at the QC stage. This is actually, Dave Leopold is a new member of the LucidLink sales team, and he's come out of a long history of production at CBS Viacom, or Viacom CBS, as it were. And he said, we're never actually done editing. You either run out of time or you run out of budget. And so, yes, you may want to be careful about how much you let your client know, because literally, LucidLink can become the way you deliver to your end user. You do not have to re-upload. You could be doing changes right up until the last minute, and so I guess that's a risk if you consider it a risk. But the ability to do it is definitely there. But you'll probably want to set up some standard operating procedure so that you can actually get finished with a job and it's not actually in change while it's going to air.
Right. And
the saying is no project is ever finished. It's just released.
Yeah. I was just going to say that, when we were sort of doing that live demo, if I were happy with that file as I would just be able to download it and then, then I would be done. So that's it. Yeah. It's so simple.
Yeah, the one thing I like about it too is we're not having to re-export and re-upload large files to a Dropbox or something like that. No, that's just a challenge because it can just take forever. So this is really a game changer for us as a creative team.
Well, I think we've run out of questions and comments. Oops, wait. Am I able to replace content with a different duration? Yes. Scott was re-asking the question, so thank you, Scott. I think we've got that, and we appreciate your attendance and your interest, and would love to,
Oh, just really quickly, let's just go back to that production workflow that you and I had originally had that conversation about. So one of the things that we were talking about in terms of a capture to cloud workflow was so one of the things that Cinedeck ingest does, and I'm sorry to be hijacking this, but we can actually write, high res and a proxy file at the same time, so matching time code. And Cinedeck sort of does a lot of multicam. So we were thinking, wouldn't it be cool if we could just record like a H.264 proxy and write it directly to the LucidLink drive? And when we write it directly to the LucidLink drive, it can be immediately made available to every editor that needs to start doing stuff with that file, with that edit. So it's also really, if you start thinking about all the different applications of LucidLink, it's sort of like we're talking about it here in this collaborative sort of editing file delivery workflow. But if we were to add it on the production side to go to capture to cloud, you can literally have people collaborating remotely from anywhere, editing the proxies, and off you go. There's so many workflows that this sort of magically opens up.
There's no doubt, and I think you will see a follow-on from us. Key takeaways from those comments are Cinedeck is compatible with as a proxy and high bit rate ingest tool for Adobe, Avid, and other edit platforms. LucidLink is compatible with proxy workflows and high bit rate workflows from Avid, Adobe, and other platforms. So the answer is almost always yes. We're almost always compatible because we look like a local disk. We're shareable like a NAS and accessible at cloud scale, which those are pretty powerful things to be able to say. And I believe that has got us all. We really appreciate
Yeah.
everybody joining. Jane, thank you. Jamie, thank you. And
Thank you.
everyone have a great rest of the day.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.